Your reports, information items, good to the cause for the board. Let's start with the high school. What do you got going on?
Did you take a breath?
What am I feeling?
So first of all, I'd like to commend our wrestling team and our boys bowling team on their outstanding achievements and accomplishments this year. It's amazing to see that our high school has accomplished so much in the athletics department. Last Friday, I attended Garba, which was hosted by the EBEF Association, and I have to say that was a really fun event.
What is that?
It's like a folk Indian dance. It's usually performed in November during the festival, but it's also performed for fun, which is why they had it in February. And I'm pretty sure they raised a lot of money because the turnout was over than what I expected for the first year. So it was really great. I can't wait to personally go to the drama club's Peter Pan because I've seen their rehearsals and that looks like a lot of fun to fly. So I can't wait to see that. Also yesterday, I was at our media center and they were speaking about the township-wide reading that they wanted to host. So it would basically be that East Brunswick, as a township, would be reading one book. And there would be book clubs and different activities around the township during school hours in the high school. But it would also be around the township in like the library or in different centers to talk about the book, just engage in conversation, and to just mingle around with the community. So the book that they decided on was a man called Ov. So I am going to be starting to read that book. So can't wait for that. Collision is at the end of this month. I will be performing on March 24th. Please come and watch. It's going to be great. It's going to be an amazing show. And lastly, NHS has been working on this Relay for Life event that we as a school want to make it into an EBHS event. So like Hammersholt hosts their Relay for Life event every year, EBHS is also going to be holding ours sometime, I guess, in May. Before the June 10th, bless you, before the June 10th relay. We're going to have one after school, so it's going to be like a pep rally. NHS is they're recommending that students in gym classes would be doing like face painting things for the event after school. And even in the gym classes, instead of doing the normal gym activities, we'd have students walk around the track to raise money for the event. So yeah, that's all that's going on in the high school.
Excellent. Thank you, Ruthie. The board, committees, good to the cause. Mrs. Reese.
Thank you. So we had our technology meeting. It was I was very excited. A lot of good things are happening. So Mr. Leipold covered a lot of the good stuff already, but I will try to add to that. We have a digital learning plan that was presented by Mrs. Gulick at the meeting. And what that means is basically the Department of Education has us come up with a technology plan yearly, but the Department of Education is not requiring it anymore. But we're having a digital learning plan, so this new plan is focused primarily on infusing technology into the curriculum. So basically, we're going above and beyond so that we have a plan is set in place for our students. There are 3 different goals: to increase access to technology for the staff and students, to identify and increase opportunities for digital learning for the students, and to communicate consistent expectations for the use of technology. So basically, we're making computers part of their everyday learning experience. And the teachers are going to have professional development in this area. The kids are going to have more, Mrs. Gulick is working on bringing this into the classroom. So say you're taking social studies, which we do already, but even doing that even further, you're learning how to use computers in your social studies class, in your science classes. It's not a standalone.
Right.
So that's one area. And then we spoke about the hardware refresh strategy so that there's a plan in place so that the committee has a 5-year plan to look at, and it was excellent spreadsheet that showed everything that was going on for the 5 years and explained how there's a cycle for rotating the hardware that's in. And for me, it was, being new to the whole process, it was great to see that there's a lot of forethought and planning put into this by the people that work here at the district, as I knew they do, but it was just, we're in good hands. And they really put a lot of time and effort into that to make sure that things are changed when they're supposed to be, and that we get the most life out of that hardware that we possibly can without affecting the students.
Right.
So that was great. And of course, coding, I can't leave that out. I sound like a one-hit wonder, but coding in the elementary schools, I was very excited to hear Mrs. Gulick was sharing some exciting things about it coming down to even the kindergarten pre-K level. There are games, as we know, this is not a high-cost thing. This is actually a freebie a lot of the time, and it's online. But the fact that it's going to be, the idea that kindergartners are going to be learning how to make their own programs, they're going to be thinking things through logically. This is not just for computers, it's for their whole life. So
You found a Fisher-Price
Yes, I
coding
did.
toy. I'm not pitching Fisher-Price, by the way, okay? But Mrs. Reese found some really cool coding toy.
It's
for
a
really young
Codapillar.
kids. Yeah, Codapillar.
Yes. I gave it to my nephew, and like I said in the meeting, my sister is not too pleased because it makes noises when you don't arrange them in the correct order. So, but there's lots of different editions, and so it's supposed to have logical thinking, and I think it's just driving my sister mad. But it is excellent because it's fun, and all the different ways that we're using it makes it accessible so that when a student gets to high school, they don't say, oh, coding, I'm not going to do coding, that's so difficult. I've never seen that before. Now they're seeing it at K-1 and then through elementary school. It's in the media center. It's just great. I could talk about it for a while, so I don't want to keep you all here all this time. But thank you to everyone on the committee, and thank you to the superintendent and yourself and the president. I'm just really thrilled. It was Mrs. Gulick was there, and it was Mr. Leopold. They explained it in such a way. I feel very heartened that we're in the right direction. And thank you for your time.
Great. And folks should know Barbara is new to chairing the tech committee, so we're excited
Could you
to
tell?
see.
I don't know,
Just
I'm
know,
really
excited.
excited.
Your enthusiasm is great to see where things start to go.
We like technology.
So, yeah.
She actually seemed quite happy that her sister was going crazy with the noise.
Well,
That's just icing.
it's all right, icing on the cake. I love my sister.
Any other committee reports? Go to the cause, Mrs. Chu.
Well, mine's not going to be nearly that exciting. Mrs. Chu, go ahead.
You sure?
Yep, Mrs. Chu, and then Mrs. Shaw.
Okay.
And then-
So February 23rd, we had a finance committee meeting. Mrs. Becker, Mr. Simmons, and I attended along with members of staff, and we had a very exciting preview of all the presentations that you saw tonight. We had the opportunity to get into a lot more depth than we can do here in the limited time that we have, and I appreciate, really, you get a real appreciation for just the effort and the detail and the commitment that the entire staff puts into the work that they do, and you really get to see that when you kind of get the chance to hear people talk in more detail about their comments. Also on February 27th, I'm also the Board of Ed rep on the East Brunswick Human Relations Council, and that's a township council that fosters respect and diversity in the community, and that council has student reps from each grade level. So previously we had reps from the high school who were previously selected for this committee: Clara Massoud, Taylor Kaplan, Sally Mingjung Yu. We also added a freshman member, Jonathan Benowitz, who attended for the first time. So it's a good opportunity for members of the community to get to hear from students at the high school level to work together and see how we can put out initiatives that will help bring the community together. I think we have a very diverse community, one that really respects each other for all of our similarities and differences. And we're now fully staffed with, and thank you, Dr. Foley, for helping with that, getting all the student positions staffed. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Mrs. Shaw?
I attended the District Evaluation Advisory Committee on the 28th. We were led by Nicole Tibbetts. Much of our discussion centered around professional development. The focus has been on using technology to enhance instruction. So it all ties together, right, Barbara? And also using assessment in instruction. And some of the ways that they are going about accomplishing these things in professional development are via hybrid courses, requesting teachers to discuss and explain innovations that they've presented in their classroom. My understanding is that Dr. Boley has been working to video many of these and that they are now available on our website. And also that we can expect, when we hear Dr. Valesky's State of the District presentation, that many of the innovations will be presented either during that talk or in the cafeteria afterwards. We noticed also that the supervisors who were in attendance at the meeting have mentioned that they are starting to see quite a bit of carryover into the classroom. We also talked a great deal about evaluation feedback, highlighting review and summary questions, and mostly, of course, that's kind of indicating how important reflection is when it comes to teachers, and thinking about what it is they've presented, how it was received by their students, and also in terms of assessing their students to make sure they are gaining the understanding that we intend for them to have. One of the things that I found very interesting is that the DOE is saying that school districts no longer will be required to have a district evaluation advisory committee in starting next year. And she actually said that perhaps we would discuss the demise of this important committee at our next meeting. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that East Brunswick will probably continue to have one, because, you know, it's just really a very healthy thing to see supervisors, other administrators, including principals, along with teaching staff and instructional staff from every level in the district, are being able to put their 2 cents in about the evaluation process. And that's got to be beneficial, I would think, to everyone.
Thank you. Mrs. Beck?
As Dr. Valesky mentioned in his superintendent's report, last Saturday was the Buddy Ball game day. This is such an amazing organization, and it's an offshoot of Fast Break, which I think is coming up on its 20th year. Not only is it giving families of special needs, children and young adults, the opportunity to participate in a sports league and everything that goes along with that. It gives our high school kids a tremendous learning opportunity to be a PAL and to volunteer for this program. They have averaged 100 PALs a year, which is translated into more than 10,000 community service hours for our kids. But I want to give a special shout out to, please bear with me, to the program directors. This is all volunteers. These are people who have been doing this every year because they just care. And their commitment to this program is outstanding. So apologize in advance for mispronouncing anyone's name. But program founder Ward Byrne, program directors John Alba, Sue DeGraw, Melinda Grande, Kathy Agee, Dave Agee, Maureen Alexander, Howie Alexander, and Jennifer Zadroga. You people rock. The time you give from your hearts is just incredible and has made a difference in so many people's lives. And that's what it's all about. So, great job.
And the good of the cause, committee reports, Mrs. Lax.
I'll be very quick. I just wanted to mention, because today, being Read Across America, we talked about, and it's my favorite time of the year, I get to go read to the students. But I had a special treat tonight because Memorial had a program where they actually had the kids come in and they went to different stations. Dr. Valesky was there, a lot of the members of his staff were there, and it's Kathleen Mueller's last hurrah. She's retiring, she's leaving us, she's a spectacular reading specialist. It was a phenomenal event, the kids had a lot of fun. The Pride Committee was wonderful, as usual, they do all sorts of fun things for these kids. And I actually got lucky, not only did my children get one, but I got a reading light, because I'm not a good technology person. So this will make my husband happy when I read late at night, I don't have to keep the lights on. I can't make it work, though.
Need tech support. Mr. Leopold, tech support.
Yeah, you said that Matt tried to make it work for me. But anyway, thank you, because the kids had a great time. And, I love the challenge, one of the rooms, they actually had to find words. And both of my children actually were competing to see how many rows of words they can find. So it was nice to see them competing at something that actually challenged their brains. But I thank you to the Pride Committee, and as I said, to Mrs. Mueller, formerly Mrs. Schuman. She'll be greatly missed at that school. And I thank you for my reading light, because I will go home and read a book now.
Hey, Mrs.
And-
Lax,
Yes,
they make something called an electronic book now,
I have that too, I know.
and it has a light built in.
I know, but my daughter and I are reading a series together that has 16 books in it. So, God bless our library. So I'm keeping our library in business because I now have the first 10 of them sitting on my dresser, so.
A lot of late charges.
No, I've been very vigilant about that. But yeah, no, so
Excellent.
thank you. See, with reading is good. And my son actually, they made everyone take a pledge, so he pledged the two of us to read 150 minutes a week now.
Oh,
So,
all right. I read today, too.
yeah, I have to get home early tonight now.
Many of us read today, so, excellent.
Yeah, I spend more on my iTunes bookstore than I do on my mortgage. It's really pathetic.
Well, I was commenting to the staff when I was leaving. I said, when I know that it's close to the end of the school year, if you can believe, we're in the middle of the third marking period, when I see the Dr. Seuss hats.
Yeah.
Middle of the third marking period. No, just like that.
See how happy he is.
So
Oh, Ruthie, come on.
Ruthie's happy.
I judge the success when you go to the parking lot on a day like today and you can't find a parking spot. And Mrs. Lax and I actually traded a parking spot.
That's
She's
right.
pulling out and I'm pulling in at one event. So when it's packed like that,
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
All right. Any other good of the cause, committee reports? Well, we do have it, Mr. Cankra.
In addition to the wrestling team having 3 district and regional champions, they also made the sectional tournament this year for the first time in several years. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Matt's done a very nice job up there, and he
Excellent.
works real hard with the high school kids.
Excellent.
And one of those kids who was a regional champion, I coached in 8th grade a million years ago.
It's all because of you.
Not really, he came in with that talent.
You also taught somebody's wife civics, but I'm not going to mention any more than that.
Oh,
Anyway,
Yeah.
a few years ago. We do have a need for closed session. May I have a motion to go into closed session to discuss the following: East Brunswick Principals and Supervisors Association, Hot Tikva International Academy Charter School, and employee number 23609. Reminder, we may go into open session to take action. It'll be about 45 minutes. Motion by Mrs. Becker,
Second.
second by Mrs. Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Short-
Motion carries.
You got it.
Good night, everyone.